success has been dependent on one of these two, if not both, finding a big total.
When they came together, a lot of people were wondering how they would adjust and how much would USA miss Stephen Taylor and Monarch Patel, because again, at the start of the World Cup, that was the opening partnership, Taylor and Monarch. And Taylor had been a fixture for USA at the top of the order for 15 years.
Outside edge away from the fielders. Saiteja Mukamala is not going to sit around. He likes to look for strokes, and he's finding them so far. Another 4 runs.
We talked about it in the first over. Again, Sai Mukamala likes to feel bad on ball. He's going to play shots. He's going to play away from his body early before he's gotten his iron. This is the channel that Ercan Daka wants the ball. Angles it in towards off stump, middle and off stump, and Mukamala steps away to create a little bit of room trying to access the offside. Doesn't get it out of the middle, but gets away with it.
One thing here for Ercan Daka, as I get that quick single away, is we saw Mukamala do something similar last night where he stepped outside the stumps and he played one on stumps through maybe a backward point region for 4 runs, and that started the spraying of Ercan Daka where he just pushed it out too wide, then got too straight. He's going to want to keep his wits about him here, and in the second over, continue to find that channel.
Again, Ercan Daka, he's a bowler that USA probably feels they can target.
That's skied straight up. Nepal is underneath it, and that man's never going to put it down. Depinder Singh Ari gets the crowd roaring, and Ercan Daka strikes.
Well, I said he's a guy that USA probably feels they can target because they've had so many issues against Sampal Kami. They've had so many issues against Karen KC, the main pacers for Nepal, and they probably thought to themselves, we're going to try and see off Sampal Kami. If we're going to take chances, it's going to be against Ercan Daka. They try to take that aggressive approach, and it backfires. And, of course, number 45 in Nepal, he's got magnets on his jersey. Depinder Singh Irie, the ball is falling everywhere this weekend. Andres House out for 2. It's 18 for 2 in the third.
पैसा भन्ने कुरा जुन बेला पनि चाहिन सक्छ ठाउँको ठाउँ पैसा पठाउन मिल्ने फोन पे त मेरो लागि एकदमै सजिलो उपाय हो
पैसा पठाउने र पाउने छिटो सजिलो र सुरक्षित माध्यम फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडौं फोन पे गरौं
DPL where he was the star in that final match, but that form hasn't seemed to carry over quite yet here in Dallas. We know he can turn it on, but he'll have to do so tonight if the USA want any chance at winning. They're already 2 down in over number 3, having lost the man that scored his 6th T20 half century last night in Andres House.
Well, the leadership for USA on field has struggled throughout the series. Monarch Patel scores a 5-3 and 1, 9 runs in the series. Aaron Jones hasn't been much better, 3 and 7, although he got a dreadful LBW decision yesterday.
Get off the mark there, a little bit of inward movement. They're going to push for 2. This is good running from the USA. They would have been out, actually. It's the shorter side of the ground they were running to. And I reckon it would have been gone for all money. Saiteja Mukamala going back to the non-striker's end.
Anil Shah, the fielder, on the leg side boundary. Again, it's very tough to score 2s on the west side of the ground because that's the short boundary. Uneven boundaries, 64 yards on one side, 82 on the other. That's the 64-yard boundary he was throwing from. So it's always dicey going for 2, and he was going to be a yard short if the collection could have been taken cleanly behind the stumps.
And that's one phase of the game. Nepal have clearly bested the USA in the running between the wickets, picking the right side to run 2s and run 1s. Clipped again into the leg side. Aaron Jones pushing hard, but Will
he was going to be a yard short if the collection could have been taken.
Wicket of Andres House and the USA are reeling. It's 21 for 2.
2, 5, go!
Bye-bye.
Introducing new Honda Dio 125.
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा
USA, what do you think that would do to their confidence heading into that League Two?
A huge amount, because their form has been quite patchy. They really struggled in the ODIs up in Canada, and to be able to go into the 50-over matches in this tour with 3 wins would be huge for their confidence.
Picked up in the gap, work to be done, and does extraordinarily well. That's brilliant from Kushal Bartel out in the deep. Aaron Jones thought he picked up his first boundary, but again, the fielding from Nepal all series long has been a touch above the rest.
Not just the fielding, but the mentality. The way they're engaged is completely different to USA. Aaron Jones was walking the first here because he's convinced this is going to be 4. And yet, Kushal Bartel, he's running from left to right along the boundary like there's no tomorrow. Saves 2 runs. If they had run properly, they probably could have gotten 3 on that. But because Jones was admiring that shot, they had to settle for 2. And that's been a big difference between the 2 sides in the series. Nepal has looked far more aggressive, far more engaged. Their tactics have been better, especially on the boundaries. That's been a big difference between the 2 sides. Nepal has, both at bat and in the field, been able to capitalize on the boundary discrepancy, whereas USA has really struggled with that.
Aaron Jones has been trapped there for 2 dot balls. Yeah, you're right, Peter. It's just you've seen that Nepal have this certain hunger about them, whether it is in the middle or out on the boundary. They're chasing after the deliveries, and Aaron Jones here has made it very clear he's going to step across to try to access the leg side. He's looking for those pockets to run to, but he's got to be very careful with Sampal Kama. We've already seen it from Monak Patel. Stepping across was undone because he just couldn't get the bat back down. If Gami gets straighter, I reckon he should, just a little bit straighter, a little fuller, it could be curtains on Aaron Jones here in this series. Stays back of a length, and Jones will get 1. How important do you think it is for Aaron Jones to find runs, again, headed in to League Two, but also since really the start of that World Cup, his international spell has kind of gone a little dry?
Had that great set of matches in Dallas here in Grand Prairie, where he had that 94 not out against Canada, that famous night on the opening night of the T20 World Cup, and then followed it up 1 match later with another memorable performance against Pakistan, 36 not out, and then scoring even more runs in the super over. But since then, there's another direct hit. Rohit Paudel draws more roars from the crowd. They're loving all of this, all the Nepal fans who've shown up here in the greater Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Everywhere you drive around this area, you go to Irving, you go to Arlington, you go to Dallas, you go to Grand Prairie, there's Nepalese restaurants everywhere. They're loving this. They're loving it. The ball connecting with the stumps. They're loving Rohit Paudel. They're loving Dipender Singh Airi. Rohit, big fan favorite here, and why not? Because he's led this team to a 2-0 lead heading into this match.
That's the one we were talking about, full and straight. But no shout from Sampal Kami. And stifled appeals from Nepal, but the crowd loving it. Just the 4 runs from the over. USA still haven't been able to find any real momentum. 4 gone, 25 for 2.
No senior. Picture, please. Picture. Picture coming. Picture.
Why choose between your favorites when you can have both? Introducing Pizza Hut's all-new Momo Mia.
Mamma mia.
The best of both worlds on one plate. Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut. There's something for everyone.
Hit me in the same spot and you triggered me. You sent me on my way. What's going on, Vijay Malala?
Well, I think the difference is you saw Monik Patel step across his stumps. Aaron Jones was very straight on to leg stump. His foot was stationed there, while Monik Patel was closer to middle and off. Rijal Dakel to continue. This Mukamala will find runs. Will push for a couple. They're going to turn back for a third. This could be trouble. Oh, better throw. Better throw might have been the third wicket for USA.
But again, that is the long boundary over there. That's 82 yards on that side of the ground. So better recognition, kind of recognition perhaps we haven't seen throughout the first two matches for USA, running very hard as soon as the ball came off the bat.
Better throw might have been the third wicket for USA.
But again, that is the long boundary over there. That's 82 yards on that side of the ground. So better recognition, kind of recognition perhaps we haven't seen throughout the first two matches for USA, running very hard as soon as the ball came off the bat.
Better throw might have been the third wicket for USA.
But again, that is the long boundary over there. That's 82 yards on that side of the ground. So better recognition, kind of recognition.
Almost immediately.
Yeah, he continued to struggle coming off the end of the World Cup where he had 32 runs in the last 4 innings. He only played a couple of matches for the Orcas before going to the bench, and it's that kind of